Brought to you by Flagstaff, building better RVs, making smarter RVers.
And hello again, everybody. Alan Warren here, the RV Wingman, steering you away from trouble and problems and connecting you with the absolute finest folks in the RV industry. Folks who will help you become not only become, but stay a happy camper for life. Our phone number, if you'd like to be a part of today's show, 1-330-WINGMAN. Again, 1-330-WINGMAN. That's me. So right up front, a big Wingman shout-out to our newest affiliate over in Tennessee, Clarksville, Tennessee, to be exact, at 1400 AM WNZE. That's right. Thanks, Sarah, for picking up the show. We appreciate y'all. Welcome aboard to all our new listeners. By the way, if you're wondering why they call me the RV Wingman, it's because, like any good wingman whose job it is to watch your back, my job is to help you make the best decisions possible when it comes to RVs and the RV lifestyle, and to tell you the good, the sometimes not so good, and the occasional downright ugly parts of RVing. And I promise you this, I will never knowingly lie to you. Never. And I'll never steer you wrong. So that is why they call me the RV Wingman. All right, this hour we have quite the variety of guests lined up that I know you're going to enjoy. So you do know that in many campgrounds, RV owners, pet owners are required to provide proof of vaccinations for their pets, right? I mean, you know that. Anyway, with COVID vaccinations being one of the most popular topics of conversation nowadays, the question is being asked, will campgrounds begin asking for proof that you have received your vaccination yet before you make your reservation? Seriously. We now have a mandate to wear masks on federally owned property, including office buildings and the post office, and wait for it, in national parks and on BLM land. I guess I can understand the thing about wearing your mask when you're inside a building, but when you're outside in your campsite, hiking around, where's this going to end? You know, I posted the story on the RV Show USA Facebook page and across many of our Facebook groups, and I presented a two-part question. First, do you think that showing proof of getting your vaccination is soon going to be a requirement at campgrounds? And if so, how will that affect your camping plans? Can you just imagine having to show a document as proof of receiving a vaccination in order to make a reservation at a campground? Hey, don't laugh. They're already talking about being a possible requirement before you board all airlines, before you get on a cruise ship, and before you attend some big social or sporting event, rather. A year ago, if I were to have told you next year, 1 year from right now, you're going to be required to wear a face mask just about everywhere you go, you probably would have thought I was smoking crack or something. Yet look where we are. So the response to my two-part question was, as they say, it was clear as mud. It was. Some people said having to show proof of vaccination, receiving your vaccination, was kind of like...
Your papers, please.
What?
Your papers, please.
Hey, it could happen. It could. You know what a mess this whole thing is. I mean, a real mess. So the comments range from great idea to no big deal to no way, no how, I'll just go and camp someplace else. You can read some of those comments and post your own thoughts on our Facebook page in the search bar. Just type in The RV Show USA and give us a like and let us know what you think. Or you can call in right now and tell us at 1-330-WINGMAN.
Your papers, please.
All right, so if you are thinking about buying a new RV, your first RV especially, I hope you'll take your time and not just jump in and make an emotional decision that you may soon regret. Remember that the dealer you buy from is just as important as the brand of RV that you buy. It is. For the majority of newbies, first-time RV buyers, where do they go to buy their first RV? Well, they typically go to the one who advertises the most, the one that sells around 20% or more of all the new RVs in the country. And for too many people, they learn a lesson the hard way. And when that happens, I get telephone calls, voicemails like this one.
Hello, this is Pat. Pat, I've been watching your show, and I was watching this one where you got that guy from Cheyenne and how first-time buyers go to Gander or Camping World and how they really get raked over the coals. Yeah, I'm one of them. And frustrating. Not only that, I bought an RV in October. I went to, in 2019, took it out, to go out west. I made one trip. It's been in the shop since July 14th, and I haven't seen it since. Every time we go, there's more wrong with it. It just keeps a nightmare. Not only that, is the back was cracked, and they fixed it and never disclosed it when we bought it. So when we took it out for the first time, it cracked again. This is what's been going on. It keeps cracking. They keep fixing it. Well, I tell you, give me a call. I can tell you what's going on, and I'm sure there's a lot more people. Boy, I tell you, I wish somebody could help us because I don't know what to do anymore. And 3 other times I've heard people just like me. One was on your show from Minnesota, and I've heard 2 other people like that now as I say it, and I'm not the only one. Give me a call back, please, would you? Thank you.
You know, Camping World isn't the only one that I hear complaints about. Other mega dealers seem to be doing many of the same things that Camping World does. And sadly, even some of the smaller dealers are now, well, they figured out how easy it is, if you will, to roll an RV buyer, especially a first-time buyer. So how can you protect yourself from being taken advantage of? Well, in my opinion, the place where the fleecing of the sheep, if you will, takes place is in the finance department at the dealership. The person in finance is generally also the nicest person in the RV dealership. Why not? I mean, most of the time, they're the person that makes more money than anybody else that works there. Their job, and this isn't a bad thing, it's just a fact, is to make money for their dealership. The more money they make for the dealer, the more money they make personally. I mean, that's the way it works. So there's a hefty incentive to get the buyer to accept anything and everything that they can tack on. I've seen where people will find an RV that may cost $40,000, for example. They'll put 10% down. They'll walk out of the dealership owing $45,000 to the bank. Think about that. I've seen people that buy a $40,000 RV, they put 10% down, and then they end up leaving owing $45,000 on the RV. Many of the things that the finance person may try and add onto your purchase are not required, and you most likely don't really need them. At least in my opinion. Now, the finance person will tell you, they'll act like, hey, everybody does it. Everybody does it. And they'll tell you horror stories of people who didn't buy an extended warranty, for example, or that the dealer freight and prep is always separate from the price of the RV. Well, here's what you need to know. The only thing that you should focus on is the out-the-door price. The out-the-door price. Most of the time, the finance person is not going to want to go to the bottom line, out-the-door price right off the bat. But that is what I'm telling you to look at. Ignore everything else, at least initially, and go right to the bottom line. Look at the out-the-door price. All the rest of it doesn't really matter. It doesn't. Don't you just want to know what you're paying? It all boils down to the out-the-door price, and that's what you should care about. If you're a believer in an extended warranty, for example, which I am not, but if you are, fine. But this is absolutely going to affect your out-the-door price. Your extended warranty may only cost you like $12, $20 a month, but it may be good for only 6 years. But you're paying for it for 20 or 15. How long's your RV loan? Anyway, if you want to pay for something, don't you want to be covered when you're paying for it? So going back to our caller, Pat had no idea the treatment that he was in for until it was too late. If you'll be buying an RV in the future, you should look at 3 things, just 3. None of them are involve the giant American flag or the sponsorship of the NHRA. Those 3 things: buy a quality RV, a quality brand of RV. They will cost a little bit more, but buy a quality brand of RV. Find a dealer with stellar reviews. And what is the out-the-door price? A quality brand of RV, a dealer with lots of great online reviews, and a competitive out-the-door price. That is what you want. The sad thing is that I promise there's going to be a lot more Pats that call me and leave voicemail messages like he did, that share their story of how their RV dream turned into an RV nightmare because they bought the wrong RV or they bought the right RV from the wrong dealer. So I want to hear what you think. Phone lines, as always, 1-330-WINGMAN. Again, 1-330-WINGMAN.